Tonight on The Roast, the ACT votes in favour of gay marriage and Joe Hockey announces raising the debt ceiling. But first, Mark Humphries is on the loose, so whoever catches him wins a shiny $1.
The chairman of Southern Cross Media has come under fire for controversial comments he made to shareholders about the Today FM royal baby prank. Time to change the tally board then. The chairman, Max Moore-Wilton, reportedly told shareholders,
"These incidents were unfortunate, no doubt about that. But in the immortal words of someone whose identity I cannot recall, shit happens."
And shit does happen from 6 till 9 weekdays on the Carl and Jackie O Show. Former Prime Minister John Howard emerged from his anti-ageing chamber last night to speak out against the Labor Party's leadership election process, saying,
"I believe the system adopted by Labor is a long-term mistake, and I fervently hope that the Liberal Party will not be tempted to mimic it."
He's right, the Liberals should never try and mimic the Labor Party. We all remember when Malcolm Fraser attempted to mimic Gough Whitlam's hip "It's Time" campaign.
What time is it? It's Malcolm o'clock.
Former Foreign Minister Bob Carr retired from the Senate today after just 18 months in the job, which doesn't sound like much, but will look killer on his resume when it says he served under 3 prime ministers. Carr's retirement is bad news for those hoping the former premier would make a big impact in federal politics, but good news for those hoping for more book reviews on bobcarblog.wordpress.com. Strap yourselves in, bobcarblog.wordpress.com subscribers. It's going to be one crazy summer. To overseas now, where the Sultan of Brunei is set to enforce tough new Islamic punishments, including death by stoning and public floggings. So if you're not a fan of Tony Abbott, get over it. The Sultan has described the new laws as a part of the great history of our nation. Many other nations, of course, had that part of their history centuries ago. The punishments only apply to Muslims, though, so if you're a non-Muslim who was thinking about stealing, drinking, or cheating on your partner in Brunei, I say reach for the skies. Legendary Manchester United manager Alex Ferguson has released a tell-all autobiography in which he tells all the explicit details of the time the ball went in the goal and also the time when the ball missed the goal and how hard that was. The title of the autobiography is My Autobiography, which beat out other equally inspiring titles such as Life Book and Things What I Done. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Found him. Looks like I get a whole $1. And Treasurer Joe Hockey gets 200 billion of them after yesterday announcing an increase to the Commonwealth debt ceiling, taking it from 300 billion to $500 billion. So if you are ever at a party with Joe Hockey and he says he's about to raise the roof, stand the hell back, because he's not kidding. Now, the debt ceiling is obviously a term that we are quite familiar with thanks to the US debt crisis, but it's not something we're used to hearing in relation to Australia. In fact, many of us thought we didn't even have a roof and that we were some sort of awesome debt convertible. Still, there is a good reason for the increase.
The Treasury Department predicts Australia will reach the current limit this December,
which could even result in a government shutdown like in America. And that would be a disaster for our politicians because they finish up Parliament in November. So for our government to shut down in December, they'd actually have to go back to work to stop work. So to prevent something like this happening, the National Commission of Audit was unveiled by Joe Hockey last night.
The Commission's been asked to identify wasteful spending, unnecessary duplication, what Commonwealth assets can be privatised, whether departments should be closed or consolidated, and the sustainability of the budget over the long term.
Which means it's spring cleaning for government spending, a process that will be headed up by Business Council of Australia President Tony Shepherd and carried out by 4 eminent commissioners. And in a lot of ways, it's been a long time coming because the last national audit was established by the incoming Howard government in 1996, which means for the last 17 years, governments have been operating without any outside auditors to tell them how much money they don't have to spend.
Let's go through this one more time, Minister. These sweeties represent your 300 billion debt, and you need 200 billion more debt, sweeties, to run your government. But I must warn you, there are others who would rather you cut spending than take on more debt, sweeties. Unspeakable auditors.
Give him the 200 billion.
Yes, sir.
And work out ways to cut spending.
By how much?
About 200 billion.
I find this situation fundamentally confusing.
And so how will they do it? Well, Treasurer Joe Hockey has sent those auditors loose to rifle through every area of government. There are no restrictions. So, wow, yeah, no restrictions. That is pretty generous.
Well, here it is. Everything we're spending money on, so cut away.
Okay, first things up, I'm thinking this overly generous paid parental leave scheme that could...
No way, we want an election on that. Can't you cut something out of climate change?
You already cut everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did too.
This looks expensive. A High Court challenge on same-sex marriage in the AC.
Get your hands off that.
I thought you said everything was on the table.
You know what? There is one area of government funding that we would really love you to make some cuts to.
Wonder what that is. Well, I guess we'll find out in 6 months, and you can be sure we will report it here on the government-funded ABC. Finally tonight, though, Australia's first gay marriage laws were passed in the ACT Assembly by a tiny margin of just 8 to 7. And for such an important issue, well, it all came down to that last vote.
That's 7 votes for, 7 against. The vote is tied.
No, my friends. The vote is won. I vote yay!
He does realise there were 7 of us who voted as well, doesn't he?
If only all votes were that exciting. Now, the historic votes prompted scenes of jubilation from the crowds that had gathered in the public gallery to watch it take place. Love is in the air! Can you feel the love?
This is just the best day, the greatest day. It's just unbelievably fantastic.
Sing it loud and proud, Canberrans. Let me hear it from the public gallery. And spectators in the adjacent room. Government, let me hear you.
The federal government is already seeking a High Court hearing to try to block the laws.
Oh, God damn it, government. The celebrations have only just begun, and Attorney General George Brandis is already being a party pooper. Now, ACT Liberal leader Jeremy Hanson also came out against the decision, saying,
"And we do not think that a majority of one person in the ACT should change the definition of marriage for a country of over 23 million people."
But really, changing the definition of marriage to allow 2 consenting adults who happen to be the same sex get married isn't that outlandish. It's not like they're rewriting the dictionary.
You're both sure you want to get married? We have changed the definition.
Yes.
Okay, this is now what marriage is.
We have changed the definition of marriage!
That was weird. But even if the legislation is blocked and same-sex marriage isn't legally recognised outside of the ACT, it won't stop the rest of us from being able to recognise the meaning and value of that relationship.
Darling.
Ladies, beautiful day.
Yeah.
Mind if I join you? I could buy you a coffee if your friend doesn't mind, of course.
Actually, we're together.
Well, we're all together now, aren't we? So, tell me about yourselves. What are you, friends, sisters?
No, we live together.
We have done for 3 years.
We actually got married in the Capital Territory, so that was nice.
I don't understand what that means.
She's my wife.
Well, she can't be your wife. You're a woman. You're the wife.
No, we're both wives.
You're both wives? Yes. Jesus, your husbands aren't around, are they?
No, we don't have husbands.
No husbands. So, what are you up to later?
Never had this problem in Canberra.
So with the bill being passed by just 8 votes to 7 or a just over 50% majority, I only hope Tony Abbott has a change of heart about same-sex marriage and decides to respect the people's mandate. But until then, he's just going to have to work out how to cut wasteful government spending. Anyway, until tomorrow, good night.